Alright, peace, love, and light to the family. Um, as you can see it's a nasty day out, it's raining. Um, I just wanted to address something that, I saw earlier. I saw some really, let's just say mean comments. People are ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, they either need attention or, you know, somebody picked on them and they feel the need to, transfer the energy. But I recognize that, it's a ridiculous kind of thing when people just do things either for pure spectacle or they need a boost in instead of doing things where they have impact and meaning on somebody's life in a positive manner, positive way. All right. Now, I disabled the comments on my YouTube channel because I'm not going to entertain that. I don't entertain stupid things like that. That's not intellectual to me, and that's what I promote, and that's what I promote education and intellectuality, and I don't promote ignorance. So I'm not even going to address certain things. But I will tell you this, and I'm going to just start off by saying this. I am not anybody's guru. I'm not anybody's master teacher. I'm not anybody's leader. I'm not anybody's anything. All I do is give information that is not mine. It belongs to everyone. It's just that everybody comes here with certain abilities and certain gifts. One of my gifts is to be able to explain certain things that most people cannot put in words. Most people cannot wrap their brain around the concept. So, some of us are able to do that. And there's a lot of dudes out here doing that. I'm not the only one. And, everybody's perspective is unique. That's what makes it a beautiful thing, because if you really understand the all, if you really understand the creator, then you would understand that everything is the creator. There's nothing outside of creation. So there's nothing that you're going to find that doesn't have the perspective of the creator. Period. Whether it be an insect, a plant, a human, an animal, whatever. Okay? That's the first thing people need to get. Secondly, I will say that toxic behavior you need to get away from. That's why I disable the comments on the channel, because I'm not going to deal with that. I'm not going to deal with toxic people. Okay? Those people, they shouldn't even be factored in your equation. So today I'm just going to deal with real life issues, real life things that I'm quite sure people go through all the time. But here's how I deal with it, using what I teach as far as the principles that I live by that give me the spiritual understanding I need to move past something that has me befuddled. Now, as I say, I'm Cancerian, so I'm very sensitive. I'm very intuitive. I'm very we're considered like the nurturers of the zodiac sign. Now, that's typically my attitude, but being that different things make you who you are, and it's not just because you're Cancer, you're like this. There's a multitude of things that make you what you are. Now, I recognize when I'm watching YouTube or I'm watching certain people like Brother Polite, for instance, I always take jewels from people, especially if they say something that resonates. And that's what this whole YouTube and all, that's what all of this is people's opportunity to be heard at the same time is something where movements can be started, not by the big machine. You can start a movement on your own. And as I was coming up there, you had to invest silly amounts of money in advertising, or to even have any type of movement, or do like back when hip hop was getting big in the 90s. It was all about the promotion with the stickers, and the stickers would be everywhere until it was considered vandalism, and then you stopped seeing them as much. But stickers would be everywhere on everything, and that was the poor way of promoting, because again, it was thousands of dollars to promote. So this whole explosion with YouTube and all of these social media outlets is it's just opened up everything so people can get perspectives, and it's almost therapeutic for some, because they're able to talk about things that they would normally have nobody to talk to. You know what I mean? So, and then you have people on the receiving end like, wow, that happened to me, or it's like you realize that you're not alone in the world, and of 7.5 billion people. Okay, but I recognize that certain things are jewels, and people give them all the time. Like, I may not agree with everything that they're saying, but there's always something I could pull from somebody that I can respect, or that I can agree with. What I do now is work towards being more accepting and more of a person who can find more alike things than things that aren't alike about us. That's what I will focus on now. It makes more sense to me at this level. So, listening to Brother Polite, he said something that stuck with me and it resonated, and I was like, wow, that's real. He said, a friend is somebody who you would invest in or would invest in you. And I immediately understood what he was saying. Immediately. This is what truth is. This is what your truth is. When you hear something that resonates and it's like, bang, I know what that means. That's how I feel. So, if I was in a financial position to help somebody that I would call my friend, and I don't call a lot of people my friends. My friends are I would call them family, because anybody that I would call a friend is somebody that I would invest in, whether it be my time, whether it be financial, whether it be whatever they needed. If I could help them with a project, if I could lend my creative expertise, whatever it is, that's what I would do, because that I wouldn't consider them family other than just a friend, because your relatives, you can't choose them, but you can choose your family. And anybody that I can consider a friend, I would do anything that I could for, and that's how I roll. So you would invest in somebody that you would call your friend, whether it be your time. Doesn't always have to be financial. It can be your time, your promotion, your the way that you, whenever you get into conversations, you speak about what this person is doing, if they're in need of something along those lines. Whatever it is that you could do, you would do, because everybody comes here with gifts and talents. Some people come here with technical skills. Some people come here with intellectual skills. Some people come here with the ability to speak and articulate things that other people are thinking. And some people come here to just be grunts and do work but are happy with those type of things. And that's cool, because everybody doesn't come here to do the same thing. And we have to recognize this. We have to start paying more attention to that instead of trying to put people in boxes. Because if you was living up to your full potential and you felt happy with what you were doing, but you see somebody that is not at their full potential, but all you could do is criticize, or all you could do is destroy whatever it is, try to destroy their dreams or hopes by what you say and what you don't support. Because you don't have to really You don't really have to do much. All you got to do is tell somebody with a weak, disposition that they can't do something, and they'll just keel over and die. And be like, all right. But somebody with will and strength, they'll continue to do what they do. Sometimes you got to get away from those people that would do that, because over time those things will start to eat away at your psyche. They'll start to resonate, and then you'll believe that shit eventually. So you got to get away from people that don't really have your best interests at heart, in the sense of what you're supposed to be doing. They may be trying to help you in other ways, but in those ways that are not beneficial to you, because that's not what you came here to do. You understand what I mean? So it's like, toxic relationships sometimes have to be either severed or looked at for what it is. The person that's supposed to be your friend, that's supposed to be your family, or whatever you want to call them, should be able to point you in the right direction, help you in a way where they see something in you where, damn, he got it, but what is it? They need to find out what that is first. You know what I mean? You need to really, if you have friends and you know what it is, you got to engage them. You got to basically sometimes check them. You know what I mean? For a lack of better words, you got to check them. Check their chin. That's what it is, if you're a good friend. But there's a way to do things, and some people, I mean, due to their sign and their upbringing and all of these things that I talk about in what I teach, they're not able to really effectuate the algorithm or the formula to come across in a way where the information, although it may be right, a lot of people won't be able to accept. At the same time, I myself have worked on honing how I deliver things, because I can be very raw, and I've always been that way. But I realize that even with all that I'm right about, it doesn't make any difference if I'm being received improperly. So thus, I work on what I'm going to say with really quick thought. But sometimes I don't care. I'm going to say what it is that I feel, because let me explain something to you. We have to come into this real life way of looking at life. It's not this thing where you can walk around holier than thou. Like, I'm quite sure the Dalai Lama has moments where he's on the low end of his cycle. Everybody has a cycle. Everybody is attributed to what energies is going on in the sky that's ruling you, that's ruling this planet. Everybody on it. Okay? So this is absolute, actual facts. There's a time when the Dalai Lama, and this is all about balance. The whole world is about balance. So if he is that holy all the time, there's got to be times where he's doing something like on a lower level, because anything that's reached that type of perfection does not exist on this planet. It does not exist. Okay? Understand that. Once you have reached that level of perfection, your journey is over. And if he understands the way the balance works, which I'm quite sure he wouldn't be the Dalai Lama if he didn't, you would know that there's a cause and an effect, and there's a consequence for everything you do. You work at being on this level, being on the higher level for most of the time, but there are times where you will falter, and there are techniques to take you out of faltering, and I'm quite sure that that's what they practice. The meditations, the focusing, the silence. These are the things that will keep you in check. But then you're not experiencing life. You're experiencing life, but it's from a viewpoint of the higher self, and only the higher self. And in this world, you need both. You need both to actually survive. The ego is the ego, and it powers you, just like emotion empowers people, but at the same time it can be a detriment. And I'm definitely living proof of understanding that. So you got to get toxic people away from you, friends, family, people really close to you. It doesn't really matter if they're toxic. You need them out of your situation, or else you cannot heal, and then you can't move forward. You could love them, but you could love them from afar. Kick it with them, talk to them. The only difference that will be is that you recognize that you have to distance yourself from any negative outlooks that they may provide. If they're not willing to provide you with help to figure out an answer, instead of just grabbing that axe and chopping away at whatever it is that you're trying to do or working towards, and they have no seed, they could destroy, but they're not building. That's not healthy. And that's something that they should look at within themselves to actually get the change that they need. Because if you're not the only person that they do that to, that's probably done with the majority of people that they come across, if not all. So it's something that they would have to work on. But if you're only breaking down and you're not building up, and building up, it doesn't have to be in a sense of patting people on their back, and no, offer up ideas that may help give a different perspective, because we're all trying to gain perspective here. That's what we're all doing. We're gaining perspective. It's all about gaining a perspective, a certain angle of light that'll be like, ding, the light goes on. Aha moment. You figured something out. And somebody could have said something, somebody could have did something, like it you never know. So it behooves you to work on your approach. It behooves you to work on how you deal with people who you would call brother, sister, human. Okay? People who are not human, then you treat them accordingly. And I'm not, yes, I am on this positive intellectual thing, but it's not a problem to have to resort to other kind of tactics to either, like I say, be in defense of myself, my family, or just to understand that it's not a game. All right? But that's a low version of me. That shouldn't have to come out unless necessary. Okay? So my thing is, if you're going to be able to build up, then you have to approach in a certain way. I didn't understand this because I didn't have a nurturing mother. She didn't nurture me at all. Spoil me? Yeah. Nurture me? No. Like, my boys could come through and tell you that just like, what you niggas want in my house? That type of mom, okay? So I learned nurturing from my daughter's mother, and she's not even a natural nurturer. Truth be told, she's a Capricorn. I'm Cancerian. We're two opposites, but opposites attract. And she balances me. And we have a daughter that is a Libra. Talk about balance. The scales is right there. But throughout the journey, I recognize, and she's recognized, that we both take things from each other that are necessary, things that we're lacking. And that's what your opposite is supposed to do. It's supposed to give you the other side of yourself, basically. To show you a part of yourself that you could be better at, and vice versa. That's how it's supposed to work. And then there's just complete compatibility, where that person feeds your ego and does all the things that you need, that's necessary for you, because there's some people that need that as well. And we have to start to recognize that this whole thing that we're doing here, this life experience, is a complex thing. It's not as simple as you believe in God and the world spins and that's it. There's so many other things going on psychologically, on an atomic level, on a cellular level, or the molecular level. Like, there's so many things going on that permeate this reality. And then there's principles that also are in play. Nature is in play, and nature is what you are. You are nature. You are a natural human being. The original man is the natural human being, and all of the people who come after are mutations of that natural human being. This is science. This is facts, and people don't like to hear these things, but this is the truth. Now, we are all today, in some way, shape, or form, have a multitude of the mutations because of the mixing. So at this stage, I recognize that none of this. That's why I don't play crayon and color games, and I don't play all of these games that I see people like to play. Because if you understand metaphysics and you understand the whole of this, then you understand that everything in creation is a part of creation, and that is just it. Simple and plain. All this is psychological. This last being who was taught everything seems to have circumvented the thousands of years that it took for us to discover all of the things that we discovered, because we had such a head start. And this being is basically to show us a lot of things about ourselves that we need to correct. Things like disunity. He wouldn't be able to break us up if he didn't recognize that we weren't together in the first place. Like, all of these things are just, but you have to understand they're physical things, but they're things that transpired in a psychological aspect first, in the mind first. So this is something that had to be done to recognize a certain paradigm, to recognize a certain situation. You can't have an experience without conditions, and his condition is to recognize our split. The minute a tribe left the confines of where we were at, and maybe a few millennia go by, and they come back, and now we're at war because we don't know you. The same bloodline that left, they just mutated because of their area and things that they're eating now, and they may have mixed with other groups. It's science. So when we stop playing games and we really understand what the hell is going on, these conversations, they start to dissipate, because then you'll understand that certain people are playing games with you, certain people are baiting you, certain people are just collecting money and doing what they do. But nobody's really going to tell you the inner workings of the truth right on YouTube. Some people do, and usually their stuff gets taken down. But what you have to recognize is, if you're willing to be mentored, if you're willing to be taught, if you're willing to be open to a different perspective that may actually change things in your life, then why not? A lot of times being in religion closes you off. So when we speak spirituality, those of us who really talk from that place speak it on a level of understanding the change that you have to go through. And change is a constant process. Once we recognize that, you stop looking at change as a bad thing, because the human being is a creature of habit. They don't want to change unless it's dire necessary. That's when they evolved. So we got to stop waiting for evolution and cause it. Change is inevitable, just like so-called death. Okay, it's how you're looking at it. Shit is going to change. Either you prepare for it, be ready to do what you need to do, or change just happens to you, or you create change. It's as simple as that. But I appreciate the time. Thank you for listening. Peace, love, and light.